lest we forget. The Australia-wide Red Cross program of news and music. From Cissister in the Cotswold Hills, past the dreaming spires of Oxford and the playing fields of Eton, the Thames rolls down to the sea at Gravesend, unsurpassed historically by any other river in the world. Through the centuries, its quiet waters have witnessed many a stirring scene, from the coming of the Romans to the battle for Britain. But in storm and stress, in war and peace, this ancient river, like the spirit of England, knows no change. Old Father Thames goes rolling along down to the mighty sea.
There's some folks who always worry, and some folks who never care. But in this world of rush and hurry, it matters neither here nor there. Be steady and realistic. Don't hanker for gold or gems. Be carefree and optimistic, like old Father Thames.
High in the hills, down in the dale,
Old Father Thames keeps rolling along down to the mighty sea.
What does he know? What does he care? Nothing for you or me.
Old Father Thames keeps rolling along down to the mighty sea. He never seems to worry, doesn't care for fortune's fame. He never seems to hurry, but he gets there just the same. Kingdoms may come, kingdoms may go, whatever the end may be. Old Father Thames keeps rolling along down to the mighty sea. The best way is heaven's blessed way. Just try to be always kind. It doesn't matter what the rest say. You're bound to leave them all behind. It's your job to do your duty. Be faithful to all your friends, for England and home and beauty, like old Father Thames.
High in the hills, down in the dale, happy and fancy free.
Old Father Thames keeps rolling along down to the mighty sea.
What does he know? What does he care? Nothing for you or me.
Old Father Thames keeps rolling along down to the mighty sea. He never seems to worry, doesn't care for fortune's fame. He never whatever the end may be.
All as the Thames keeps rolling along, down to the fighting deep. Down to the fighting deep.
Old Father Thames was sung by William Laird, the Orphean choristers, and the Heidelberg City Choir. Our next artist is a tenor who is building for himself a reputation second to none, and whose delightful voice is particularly suited to ballads of a lyric nature. As his solo item, William Herbert has chosen Clay's famous ballad, I'll Sing These Songs of Araby.
I'll sing these songs of Araby and tales of fair Kashmir, wild tales to cheat thee of a sigh, or charm thee to a tear, and dreams of delight shall on thee break, and rainbow visions rise, and all my soul shall strive to wake sweet wonders in thine eyes, and all my soul shall strive to wake sweet wonders in thine eyes. Through those twin lakes when one awakes, my raptured song shall sing, and as a diver dives for pearls, bring tears, bright tears to their brink, and dreams of delight shall on thee break, and rainbow visions rise, and all my soul shall strive to wake to wonder in thine eyes, and all my soul shall strive to wake sweet wonders in thine eyes, to cheat thee of a sigh, or charm thee to a
At 4:10 a.m. on May the 14th, 1943, an enemy submarine torpedoed and sank without warning the Australian hospital ship Centaur, 40 miles east of Brisbane, while en route from Sydney to New Guinea. The vessel was traveling unescorted, was fully illuminated, and marked with the Red Cross, and complying with all provisions of international law governing hospital ships in time of war. The weather was clear and visibility excellent. The vessel capsized and sank within 3 minutes of being hit. Of the 363 members of the crew and medical staff and nurses on board, 64 were rescued, the remainder were lost. Red Cross representative on the Centaur was Mr. W.F. Darwin Clark, who lost his life when the vessel sank. Mr. Clark was a South Australian and had been serving as an honorary officer of the Society for 2 years. He was an extremely able officer and was always popular among the troops whom he serviced. His loss and the loss to the Australian government will be carried out day by day under the Red Cross emblem, and the risks and hard for the sake of humanity. Those perils and privations will thankfully show our appreciation of what Red Cross is doing to the burden of the society. Institutions are always welcome, and never more so than at this moment. I will extol thee, O King, and I will bless thy name forever and ever. Every day will I bless thee, and I will praise thy name forever and ever. The Orphean choristers and the Heidelberg City Choir offer the hymn, All Hail the Power of Jesus' Name. During the last war, the late Oscar Ashe staged in London the musical story of the East, Chu Chin Chow. Its success was amazing, and it held the stage at His Majesty's Theatre from August 1916 to July 1921, with a total of 2,238 performances. The music by Frederick Norton was extremely tuneful, especially the Cobbler's Song, now presented by William Laird and the choir.
Cobble at slipper and shoon, from the rise of sun till the set of moon. Cobble and cobble as best I may, cobble all night and cobble all day, and I sing as I cobble this doleful lay. The stouter I cobble, the less iron, for the soles ne'er crack, nor the uppers turn. The better my work, the less my pay, but work can only be done one way. Commoner, poor and rich, stand in need of the cobbler's stitch. Why then worry what lies before? Hangs this life by a thread, no more. From the rise of sun till the set of moon, cobble and cobble as best I may, cobble all night and cobble all day, and I sing as I cobble with gold.
Towards the end of the last century, Franz Liszt became interested in a young American musician and helped to introduce him to public favor in Europe. The young man was named Edward MacDowell, and he is recognized today as the most significant American composer yet born. Before his death in 1908, MacDowell had written much splendid music, including the very beautiful To a Wild Rose, now presented as a choral offering by the Orphean choristers and the Heidelberg City Choir.
Thank you.
Many expressions of gratitude have been received for the assistance rendered by Red Cross to survivors of the Centaur. A letter received at Australian Red Cross headquarters on behalf of the medical staff included the following. Arriving as we did, with not a thing to bless ourselves, we all felt rather miserable. But I assure you it was not long before we were all warm and comfortable, thanks to our Red Cross. This note of thanks is given on behalf of the medical staff of the Centaur, and each and every one of us is warm in words of thanks and appreciation. Hoping a similar occasion never arises, but knowing what would happen if it did in regard to our Red Cross comforts. Another letter ended with these words. As a survivor of the staff of the Centaur, I desire to express thanks for the comforts and consideration shown by your representative, Mr. Crouch, who was simply wonderful. I've seen Red Cross workers in other parts of the globe and have always known them to do a great job. But I think the treatment we all received here cannot be surpassed. In addition, a letter and a check for the amount of £105 were received from the Greek vessel Aspasia. The letter expressed the regret to all members of the crew that the sinking of the Centaur had occurred, and the check made up from donations by the crew was donated to the Australian Red Cross Society. If you would add your appreciation to that of these Greek sailors, see by how much you can increase their handsome donation of £105. You should be able to do better, much better. William Herbert, William Laird, the Orphean Choristers and the Heidelberg City Choir combined for the feature number of this program, The End of a Perfect Day, by Carrie Jacobs Bond.
When you come to the end of a perfect day, and you sit alone with your thoughts, while the chimes ring out with a carol gay, for the joy that the day has brought. When the sun goes down with a flaming rain, and the dear friends have to Well, this is the end of a perfect day, near the end of a journey too. But it leaves a thought that is big and strong, with a wish that is kind and true. For memory has painted this perfect day with colors that never fade, and we find at the end of a perfect day the soul of
And so this presentation dedicated to the Red Cross ends for tonight, featuring William Herbert, William Laird, Max Balderson, the Orphean Choristers, and the Heidelberg City Choir, with the entire program under the direction of Hector Crawford. Lest we forget.
It's so wonderful.